And this segment of the Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Kin Sporting Goods in Norco, #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and Letterman's jackets. Boost Performance Training in Corona. Athletes of all levels and all sports train at Boost. And also ask about the Bass Private School. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist you can trust. Chick-fil-A in Yucaipa, right off the 10 freeway at Yucaipa Boulevard. Eat more chicken. And if you'd like to promote your business or organization on the show, send us an email. Help us share the positive sports stories here in the Inland Empire. And what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Inland Sports Show. I am your host, Pep Fernandez. We really appreciate you tuning in on this Wednesday night. We are now full swing into the high school football season. Week 0 in the rearview mirror as we head into week 1. And everybody will get into the action by now. And we got some big games coming up. We're going to talk more high school football a little bit later in the show with the Summit Skyhawks. Summit coming off a huge win on the road against Ontario Christian. They've got a Thursday night special coming up against Chino. We're going to check in with head coach Nick Matheny and Mark Mitchell, who is a Fontana legend, according to Coach. So you don't want to miss that interview. We also have our Kin Sporting Goods must-see game coming up this week. It's a huge game in San Bernardino County. We have our Big Boost play of the week, which will lead in to our first interview tonight. So without further ado, make sure you give us a like, subscribe to the Inland Sports Show YouTube channel, and here we go with the Big Boost play of the week. Inland Sports. Let's take you out to the Coug. Rancho Cucamonga, Murrieta Valley, and the Cougars going head-to-head. A rematch of last year's double overtime thriller in the Division II quarterfinals. Number 5, Dorian Hoze going off against Rancho Cucamonga. Dorian going for 5 touchdowns, nearly 200 yards on the ground, and he did a lot of the heavy lifting with all-world quarterback Bear Bachmeyer on the bench. Nothing but thoughts and prayers for Bear, one of our favorite guys. Hopefully he makes a speedy recovery, but in his absence, Dorian Hoze went off against Rancho Cucamonga in our Big Boost play of the week. Again, 5 touchdowns on the ground, nearly 200 yards rushing, and a huge statement win for the Nighthawks. We had a chance to catch up with Dorian to not only talk about that big win against Rancho Cucamonga, but really the goals for the season now. This Murrieta Valley team, even with Bear Bachmeyer not in the lineup at quarterback, they are still very, very good. And they got Servite coming up this week in non-league play. We all know that the Big West is brutal. So many good teams, right? So they're going to be battle-tested. And who knows, maybe another deep CIF run coming up for the Nighthawks. So here's our exclusive interview with Murrieta Valley star running back Dorian Hoze coming off that huge game against Rancho Cuc. Inland Sports. And now join us here on the Inland Sports Show, fresh off a huge game against Rancho Cucamonga in Week 0. It is Murrieta Valley running back Dorian Hoze. And Dorian, man, huge way to, break out the 2024 season to beat a very good Rancho Cucamonga team. You had 5 touchdowns, nearly 200 on the ground. When you look back at this game, what are you going to remember about that performance you had against the Cougars?
I'm going to remember how all summer, all offseason, ever since the last playoff game that we had, we've been thinking about, we're going to have to play this Rancho Cuc team again. And we've been thinking about, it was such a thriller last time. It was such a close game. And whole time I was thinking, like, how can we make this game, like, definite? How can we make it show that we are the dominant team? And so when we got there last Friday, we really showed that with our O-line play and our defensive play, too. We just had a great team play as well as disciplined team.
Man, Dorian, that's a perfect segue because I was going to ask you, the last time you saw this Rancho Cucamonga team, you saw Rancho Cuc in the D2 quarterfinals last year, and it came down to that goal line play, and you guys won and advanced. Were you guys, obviously it sounds like it, were you guys thinking about that game again? I mean, the last time you took the field, it was against that same team, and it was this crazy finish, but it's, based on the score, it sounds like you guys had a decisive win, like you said.
Yeah. So yeah, we definitely did thought about that game. We definitely had some feelings about it, and we definitely retaliated in a way that shows that it's a clear-cut answer who should have won the game.
Yeah.
But it allowed us to I don't know, it's motivation. It provided great motivation through our whole offseason as our new team comes in, and just trying to prove ourselves. Like, yeah, we're a good team, and yeah, we can play.
Dorian, let me ask you, listen, we all know, your all-world quarterback, Bear Bachmeier, is out. So the game plan going in, did you know, or did you have a feeling like, hey, we might run the ball a little bit more than normal, or, I'm gonna try to carry the load as much as I can, and help this team get a win? I mean, do you feel like you might get more carries or more emphasis will be on you in the offense now?
Yeah, throughout the whole week, when we kind of had the idea that we weren't going to play with our starting quarterback, we kind of drove our game plan into a more run-driven plan. And so we have an amazing O-line, and so they worked all week at it too. And we know Rancho Cuc has a very good D-line, very good defense. They get a lot of penetration when it comes to the line. And so we worked at that. We worked on how we're going to fit everything and where we're going to run, where our holes are going to look at. And we came out, we scored 2 touchdowns first half, and yeah, we kind of had a little rough second quarter. But after some adjustments, we fixed everything again. And the O-line play and the running game was beautiful once again.
Dorian, let me piggyback off that and ask you about your offensive line at Murrieta Valley, because obviously these guys are studs in the trenches, and they obviously are a huge reason why you had such a great game running the football. What can you say about your offensive line and what they're going to mean for this team in terms of the success for the rest of the year?
I think that they're really going to be the key. They're really the key. O-line play is always really the key to everything, but they're definitely the key to our offense. Especially if our quarterback isn't there. They're great in the pass. They're great in the run. They're dominators. They love to they just love to play. They love the game. They get excitement out of just pancaking people. You see them on the field. You see them all happy. Just jumping around. They pancake people. Or if I get tackled, they're running to pick me up. They're great guys. So they really love the game and they love what they do. So they're definitely a big part of our offense for sure.
So Dorian, how do you take care of them? Do you bring them donuts to school, or what do? You got to take care of your big guys.
Yeah, you take care of them. Actually, our quarterback is one that kind of does take care of them though too, because every Friday, the day of the game, he'll bring them donuts. So Asher, our quarterback that started, she brought him all donuts in the game for the game. So that's nice. And then also we all have a O-line dinner every Thursday after our walkthroughs and stuff, and we just go enjoy time with each other and eat and make jokes and just kind of come together as a team and build that culture.
That must be a lot of food, man, for those O-line guys.
Yeah, a lot of food. We have this week too. So.
Well, Dorian, you guys have a very tough non-league schedule. You're playing a lot of good teams before you even get to Big West play. Servite coming up here in week 1. What do you think you guys have to do well as a team to get a win against the Friars this week?
Weirdly enough, I think that it's going to be we're going to have to establish our pass game. If we can establish our pass game, we can bring them out the box, and that opens up the run quite a bit. So once we're able to show them that we can pass the ball, our only thing is that we can't run, is it's going to open up a lot of things. It's really going to show teams we're dangerous, dual threats. So it's definitely going to be a key is our pass game.
And it's funny you say that, because really you can't have one without the other, right? If they know you're going to run the football every single play, they'll put 8 in the box, and it's going to be a long night for you. But yeah, if you can throw the football a little bit, it kind of opens things up, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
So what's practice been like this week? You guys obviously coming off the huge win. The mindset is good. The attitude is good. Good vibes down there at Murrieta Valley.
Yeah, definitely a lot of energy coming into the week, off a big win like that, especially something that has kind of a little background to it.
Yeah.
And this is honestly, at least from my 4 years here, this is our first Trinity League game, So it's kind of a big game for us, and we want to win this game. We want to show the world, hey, we're public school. We're going to go beat this Trinity League team. And, just in the RB room in general, our coach, Stan Hunt, he's kind of getting us ready because Servite's defense is, is different from the things we've seen. So we kind of have to prepare for it. We have to see, where they're going to fit because they do a lot of stunts and stuff. So we're trying to figure out what they're going to do and where we're going to fit and how everything's going to work. So we're kind of just getting ready for that, a lot of energy to all that too.
So it sounds like when you play other really good teams, there's a lot of homework involved, right? There's a lot of study, and so you know your opponent, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. We don't know what playoff division you guys will be in at the end of the season, but let's just assume it's going to be Division II again this coming year. That you guys playing Servite, that could be a playoff game. That might be like a playoff preview down the road.
Yep, it might. It might be just like Rancho Cucamonga. We play them preseason, then we play them in the playoffs again. So.
And then Dorian, let me ask you too, because going through these non-league games, playing really good teams like Rancho Cuc, Servite, you guys will be battle tested. You guys will be, I feel like, ready for Big West play. Obviously, we all know about Centennial. Chaparral's tough. Vista Murrieta is coming along. Big West play is tough. Do you feel like going through these tough non-league games will get you ready for Big West and ultimately, hopefully, a CIF run too?
Yeah, like our head coach says, we kind of use our preseason to kind of get good, use our preseason to get good for the season. And then when league comes around, that's when we got to show people hey, this is who we are. We're going to go win league games, get a good playoff seed. And then playoffs is where we go make our run and try and get to the state and all that. So kind of using preseason as just a tester and kind of getting people battle ready,
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Dorian, let's end on this. Coach Wilson's one of my favorite guys, but give me a Coach Wilson-ism. Is there something he says at practice or something he does all the time you're like, that is definitely Coach Wilson? I don't know if he has signature sunglasses or he says the same thing over and over, hold on to the football or something. Is there something that is just an example of what Coach Wilson is all about?
One thing I could say about Coach Wilson that is all about is if we're in a big huddle, it'd be don't look at the ground, look at me, for guys looking at the ground, I was don't look at the ground, look at me. So that's something I can say about Coach Wilson.
So you can guarantee that's his line.
Yep.
Well, Dorian, listen, congrats. Huge game against Rancho Cucamonga in week 0. Another big one coming up against Servite. Nothing but the best, man, the rest of the season for you and the Nighthawks.
All right, thank you.
You got it. That's Murrieta Valley running back Dorian Hoze here on the Inland Sports Show. Inland Sports. Awesome interview with Dorian Hoze from Murrieta Valley. Shout out to Coach George Wilson. Shout out to Bear Bachmeyer, the all-world quarterback from Murrieta Valley. Such a great family. And again, our thoughts and our prayers for a speedy recovery for Bear, man. Really wanted to see the Nighthawks at full strength this season. They're set up to have a big year. They still can have a big year, so they got that much talent on the team. So it's going to be a very exciting season for the Nighthawks. All right, we come back here. More high school football right around the corner, including our interview with Summit head coach Nick Matheny and star running back and linebacker Mark Mitchell. The Skyhawks, big win in week 0 against Ontario Christian. They got Chino coming up. Not to look too far ahead, but you'll hear from Coach Matheny talking about playing Beaumont, the Fighting Steinbergs. Coach Steinberg just picked up his 200th career win. Congratulations, Coach Steiny. Coach Matheny, on this past week against Ontario Christian, just picked up career win number 100. So he's trying to catch Coach Steinberg, and he can do that with a win against Beaumont. But first things first, Summit versus Chino this coming Thursday, a Thursday night special. So we'll talk Summit football when we come back here on your favorite show, the Inland Sports Show. We'll be right back. And this segment of the Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Kin Sporting Goods in Norco, #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and Letterman's jackets. Boost Performance Training in Corona. Athletes of all levels and all sports train at Boost. And also ask about the Bass Private School. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist you can trust. Chick-fil-A in Yucaipa, right off the 10 freeway at Yucaipa Boulevard. Eat more chicken. And if you'd like to promote your business or organization on the show, send us an email. Help us share the positive sports stories here in the Inland Empire. The Inland Sports Show is proud to partner with Dr. Marcus Paulson and Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Dr. Paulson and his team work with children, teens, and adults using orthodontic products like traditional braces and Invisalign to make a difference in the appearance, comfort, and function of each patient's teeth. Paulson Orthodontics welcomes new patients, so schedule a visit today. Paulson Orthodontics. We make braces fun.
Hey guys, this is Jason at Ken Sporting Goods. We're almost to 1,000 Instagram followers. Tell your friends, like us, come down and see us. Thank you so much for your loyalty.
Should your child lift weights before hitting their growth spurt? I get this question a lot from parents, and the simple answer is yes. Think of it as a long accumulation phase where athletes get modest gains in strength, power, and coordination. And when their growth spurt does hit, often it's to a larger degree than athletes who didn't lift weights at all. So remember, develop early, specialize late. Your boy, Boost Man.
And welcome back to the Inland Sports Show, everybody. I'm your host, Pep Fernandez. If you're watching us live on Wednesday night, make sure you give the video a like and subscribe to the Inland Sports Show YouTube channel. And if you're watching it after the fact on demand, give it a like as well. Also subscribe if you haven't done so already. We've got the complete show here on YouTube. We pull out a lot of the individual interviews. You'll see some individual highlights and other fun stuff, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. We might mix things up in the coming weeks. We might try to live stream to Twitter and or Instagram as well, but right now, still trying to build that YouTube audience. A lot of people are hanging out on YouTube, and we're going to see if we can build that first. All right. So, more high school football. One of the big wins in Week 0, certainly the Summit Skyhawks going on the road and beating a very good Ontario Christian team in the first week of the season. Now in Week 1, they got another big game. It's a Thursday night. It's a short week as they will take on Chino and head coach Nick Matheny and one of his star players who he calls a Fontana legend. Mark Mitchell had a chance to join us here on the Inland Sports Show to talk about that big opening win going forward in the season, what this team is capable of. And Coach Matheny, I didn't even know when I scheduled him for the interview, but he also picked up career win number 100. Congratulations, Coach. That's a big milestone. Here's the Summit Skyhawks on the Inland Sports Show.
Inland Sports.
And now join us here on the Inland Sports Show, coming off a big win in Week 0. It's the Summit Skyhawks. We got head coach Nick Matheny and Mark Mitchell, running back and linebacker for Summit. And Coach, let me start with you, man. How are you feeling after a Week 0 win? You got the hat backwards. You got a big smile on your face, man. You're just loving life right now, it looks like.
You know what? I'm actually a few minutes late to our third practice of the day. We did a 6 a.m. practice this morning. We did after school practice for the defensive half, and now I am on to 10U, also known as micro football. So for the junior All-American Skyhawks, Mark's little brother plays on our Pee Wee team, coached by our offensive line coach. So got here about 5:30, leave here about 8:30, 9 o'clock tonight. So we're putting in a shift.
Man, that's wall-to-wall football. Like, you can't get enough.
Yeah. Something like that. It's great. It is really great. We have a lot of kids that played for us in the Junior All-American program that I played for us in high school, and it's a pretty cool thing. There's probably 200 youth football players out there that are doing something positive, and we're just glad to be a part of that. But it is a little tiring, but we're excited, and the Week 0 win was a good one. It's kind of special for me. I cut my teeth at Aquinas High School. I think everybody knows that as a young head coach. And gentleman by the name of Lang Stevens was the head coach there. And him and Harold Strauss, the two men that I got to compete against, were competitors and like my mentors at the same time, making sure I wasn't spending too much time at work and going home and being a good husband. And so being back there, I kind of got a little choked up before the game, thinking of Lang and Chris Stevens and all those great battles we had there. And going back, it's been a long time since I've been back to Ontario Christian, so very proud of the way our team played in the game, and fortunate enough to come out with the win.
Yeah, to be back at Ontario Christian and beat a really good team, and also career win number 100. I mean, what does that mean to you, Coach? Does it mean you're old, you're good, you've been around a long time? Like, what does it mean?
A little bit of, I think, the old and been around a long time, yes. Good, I'll leave that in the eye of the beholder. But you know what? I think the coolest thing is what a big deal it was to our Summit High School community, what a big deal it was to our staff. I think the 100 wins has very little to do with me and more to do with all the people around, like guys like Mark Mitchell, who went out there and played. I don't know how many snaps he played, but he ran the ball. I mean, we're sitting down right now, so you can't really see his stature, but, don't trust Max Preps on his height weight. I'll tell you that. But, Mark's one of the smallest guys out there with the biggest heart. But I think those 100 wins are just that's a reflection of the support from my wife, my kids. They miss a lot of time, so we can mentor young men. And I'm very happy, but I think it's a more of a reflection of everybody else. I just, I happen to, print the practice plans. That's so we have a great staff, and there's too many of them. But Jeff McCarthy, my best friend, has been there with me for almost every one of them. Mark Mercado has been there with us for a lot of them. And Richard Anhide. And there's just, like I said, there's too many coaches to name them all off. But we really do have a great thing going here, and it really is like a family atmosphere. So I'm more happy for everybody else involved, and that 100 lasts a few hours, and now it's on to now we're all trying to get 101. It's on to Chino, and so very cool. But like I said, really a testament to everybody else that supported us all these years.
The road to 200, man. I think what's your boy Jeff Steinberg? I think Ken Batdorf. I mean, those guys just hit 200. So, Coach, you got some work to do.
Yeah, a little bit, man. I'll see if I hang around. I'll see if I hang around as long as Batdorf. I know. My neighbor Kurt Brewing said 200, and so it's something I didn't really think about. Somebody asked, I was like, well, I guess we have to do some math here and see. And so, kind of a little bit of monkey off the back too. But this is definitely it's about us. Not so much about myself. So, but excited for that everybody got to be there and we got to celebrate that together, like this big, at times dysfunctional family that we all are here at Summit. But like this morning, our assistant principal, Veronica Pierce, had a gift for me. Really, really happy to have her around. So there's a lot of people that played huge roles in all of this.
All right, Coach, I do want to circle back to you, but let me get your guy Mark Mitchell on here as well.
Please do.
Mark, I mean, do you play special teams as well? Like, are you on the field basically every single play for Coach Matheny here?
Yes, sir.
And do you like that? What's the appeal for you? Playing like this Iron Man football on both sides of the football, because obviously Coach must have a lot of faith and confidence in you to have you out there basically every single snap.
Yes, sir. It's just like an honor to be on the field, and just wherever Coach puts me, I'm gonna go out there and play the hardest.
Have you always been a running back and a linebacker, or like growing up, did you play different positions?
I played those positions growing up.
Let me tell you what. Let me answer for him because he's real modest. He's a Fontana Pop Warner legend.
Oh.
Legend. It was Brian Calderon and then him. They're about the same height. They're just a couple of years apart from each other. And so he was a stud. I've been watching this guy play for a long time, man.
Mark, Coach calling you a legend. How's that make you feel?
It feels good. But I feel like there's a lot more work.
So you guys did get a big win, obviously, against a good Ontario Christian team in Week 0. From your standpoint, what did you guys do well to get that win?
I think we just played hard.
Yeah. And I gotta agree with Mark a little bit. It was one of the best performances by our defense, especially our secondary. We graduated the entire secondary last year outside of one position, and the guy who returned, Max McCarthy, our assistant head coach's son, who was a freshman, now a sophomore. So I want to say that all the secondary returns last year, but for guys who like to throw the ball like Ontario does, they have a really good passing attack. To be able to hold their passing attack, I believe they completed 10 passes on 31 attempts, held them under 100 yards passing for the night. Multiple times they had to throw the ball away, and I think that's just us playing really, really hard. And for us, it was very playoff environment. I think our bodies are still feeling it today, how hard we played, but definitely one of the better performances by a secondary we've had in a really long time.
So, Mark, let me ask you, not to sound like overly dramatic here, but that was a big win in Week 0. Do you feel like a win like that can kind of set the tone for the rest of the season, kind of get you guys, some momentum and feeling good about yourself going in the right direction?
Yes, sir. I feel like it's a good season starter. It tells us if we play hard, we can really achieve all the goals we need to, and just
And what are your goals? I mean, the Sunkist League looks like it's up for grabs, and CIF run. I mean, what are some of the goals you have this year for yourself and the team?
Definitely a CIF run, league champs. But right now, we just gotta take it week by week.
How about, I'm just gonna throw out some numbers: 1,000 yards on the ground, 100 tackles. How does that sound? Or maybe more. I don't know. Maybe I'm selling you short, man. Maybe more.
Yeah, that sounds good. 100 tackles for sure. Definitely gonna try to hit that. 1,000 rushing, yeah.
Mark plays a lot of snaps for us. Something he'll never tell you, but I will, is he's probably one of the best leaders, if not the best leader I've ever coached all these years. 15, 16 years doing it as a head coach anyway. Mark's a great leader, and we definitely share the load in the backfield. I think we had 4 or 5 guys rush the ball, and completed a handful of passes as well. So. Mark's going to share that load, and he blocked his butt off too. So really kind of a unique little thing we have going in the backfield right now. But, definitely Mark's a returning All-CIF player as a junior too. So definitely we're going to need him to hit that the triple digits in the tackles for sure.
All right, Coach, listen, I'll wrap this up because I know you have another practice to get to. You can't get enough football. Okay, so against Chino, without giving away all your secrets, what did you guys do well against Ontario Christian that you're hoping to continue to do well against Chino? And maybe there's an area that you feel like we can be better. We got to clean that up. If we want to be the best version of ourselves, we got to get better in this area.
We got to clean up the penalty stuff. Sorry. Am I back?
You're back. You're
there
good.
You go. All right. For us, we had a lot of penalties week 0. That's got to get cleaned up. I think some of the penalties is, our team, we're playing hard. I mean, that's what we hang our hat on. If you were to ask me, sum up some of football, is our number one goal is to play harder, out hustle, out hit, our opponent. Those are the number 1, number 2 goals of what we're doing. So I think that's a big part of it. And we're gonna push right up to the edge, and not try not to fall over that edge. So obviously the penalties got to get cleaned up. I think another big thing that we've got to be able to do all year long is we really have a lot of our offensive line coach, Teddy Brooks. Last year we struggled on the offensive line. We're not going to lie. And they started working out literally in December of last year. I mean, he had them on the weekends. They were running. They were doing, it wasn't maybe not even football related. Maybe just sitting down, watching an NFL game or whatever they were doing. But our offensive line at times was dominant in the game. So for us, to be successful, we're going to need to control the line of scrimmage. I think against Ontario, was it their first offensive drive? They went down to the 1 yard line. We had a goal line stand, and then we marched 99 yards, 18-play drive that took up 10 minutes of game clock. So to keep the high-powered offense, if you will, on the sideline is going to be big for us. Chino's got some dudes. I got number 2, number 3 there are blazing fast. So for us, kind of containing those explosive athletes, we kind of got some unique ways of doing it on defense the last couple of weeks, and so those are going to be the big things for us. But moving forward is just, can we play hard? Can we eliminate pre-snap penalties, right? You're going to get a hold. You're going to get, some of those penalties, but we can eliminate those pre- and post-snap penalties. I think that's number 1 on our list. And, we're on a short week. It was really hot today, right? You got all the air quality stuff that's going on. So really doing that. That's kind of our big thing right now. But just continuing that, relentless aggression that we're trying to play with is probably – that's going to take us – if we can play at that level and not – go over the top with the penalties, that's what's gonna fix us. So we've been talking a lot about that this week.
So a short week, Coach. Thursday night game. I mean, what do you do on Friday night? You go scout somebody? You take your wife out? Like what do you do?
I'll tell you. Pep. Everybody knows where we're gonna be. We're gonna be at Citrus College watching Glendora and Hooper Hills. Right. We're gonna have the camera. It's a great shot. You get up top, you get to see it. So that's what we'll be on Friday night. We don't miss an opportunity to scout. Live and in person very often. I might have the boys with me, but we'll be there. We have back-to-back Thursdays. We got the Fighting Steinbergs coming to town next Thursday. That's always a battle, especially on a Labor Day weekend and all that. So, we don't. The one thing about Summit was we don't have lights. We have lights, but they're more like construction. Like we're got them at U.S. Rentals. Yeah. So we're out there cranking the lights up, for 30 minutes, make sure the generators have gas. And so, we have to kind of handle that. So that's a difficult part for us. So we play we have 4 Thursday games this year. So kind of no stadium and all that good stuff. So hopefully, I know there's some stuff coming down the pipe. We'll see if that stadium comes in here soon.
But in the meantime, just find a way, right? Just find a way to keep winning.
You know what? We always say, hey, if you can't see, right? You ever seen, what's the movie, the surfer movie, Point Break?
Vision
is highly
Reeves.
overrated.
Yeah.
Vision is highly overrated. The surf in the dark scene. You got to use the force. So, we'll find a way, one way or the other.
All right, Jedi Master Nick Matheny, his Padawan Mark Mitchell over here. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. Thank you for jumping on the Inland Sports Show.
Hey, thank you, Pep. Take care, buddy. Thanks for everything you do.
Inland Sports.
Coach Matheny is such a good dude, and it sure looks like Summit has a pretty good football team this season. Some big games coming up. Chino, and of course, as he mentioned, the Fighting Steinbergs, the Fighting Steinies the week after that against Beaumont. In fact, there's probably a good chance Beaumont and Summit might be undefeated going head-to-head in week number 2. So that'd be a lot of fun to see those two great coaches and programs going head-to-head here in the IE. All right, when we come back here on the Inland Sports Show, we're going to have our Boost Top 25 poll after Week 0, and there was a lot of movement. The rankings did change quite a bit after Week 0. We got our Ken Sporting Goods must-see game. We'll take a look at some of the big games coming up in Week number 1, plus a local high school football player from our area needs your help. We're going to explain how you can get involved and help one of our own. We'll be right back here on the Inland Sports Show right after this.
And this segment of the Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Ken Sporting Goods in Norco, #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and Letterman's jackets. Boost Performance Training in Corona. Athletes of all levels and all sports train at Boost. And also ask about the Bass Private School. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist you can trust. Chick-fil-A in Yucaipa, right off the 10 freeway at Yucaipa Boulevard. Eat more chicken. And if you'd like to promote your business or organization on the show, send us an email. Help us share the positive sports stories here in the Inland Empire.
Is it important to have your kid on the A team? Absolutely not. If you have some serious goals for your young athlete, don't forget to focus on the bigger picture. Instead of trying to get them on the A team, focus on finding them a good coach. Coaches who attract the best players aren't always great developers, whereas a coach who can instill what your child needs to reach their potential, that's priceless. Boost man.
Inland Sports.
Especially like Bo Nix, right? He is older. He's played a lot of college football. Remember, before he was an Oregon Ducks star, he was starting in Auburn, man. So he played against SEC teams. He played against the Pac-12 teams. I mean, he's played against a lot of good teams. He's taken a lot of snaps. So I don't think he's your traditional, like rookie quarterback. Guys who, I don't know, let's say like a Trey Lance. When the 49ers took Trey Lance, he hadn't really started a lot of college football games, but Bo Nix is on the opposite end. He's played a lot of college football. So if anyone's going to be ready to start week one, it would be a guy like Bo Nix.
It's kind of like Stetson Bennett back up for the Rams. He actually has a lot of experience.
Did want to give you a pep quiz on this Thursday morning. Now, your boy Shohei Ohtani is one home run and one stolen base away from becoming a 40-40 man.
Yeah.
Can you name the first guy to join the 40-40 club? Because this was probably right in our wheelhouse when we were younger guys.
I do remember when I want to say Jose Canseco was the first one to do it, because I remember that was a big deal back then. I mean, he's a big man. The 40-40 club, that was a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, dude, the Can Man, the Bash Brothers, right? Yeah, he was the first 40-40 man for the A's back in '88. The last guy to do it was in 2023. So Ronald Acuna for the Braves did it just last year. There's only 5 players in Major League Baseball history to be in the 40-40 club. So we got Canseco and we got Acuna. For bonus points, Patrick, can you name the other 3 guys in the 40-40 club?
Is Barry Bonds in there?
Bonds is in the club, man.
And then I hate to do this to you. I'm drawing a blank on the last 2.
I'll give you a hint. Yeah. Seattle Mariners. Wow. Late 90s.
A-Rod?
A-Rod, man. A-Rod is in there.
Oh, I should know that.
And
who was the last one?
The last one is obscure. I would have never gotten this. Your boy, Alfonso Soriano, did it in 2006 for the Washington Nationals. He had a couple really good seasons, so those are the only 5 guys in MLB history, and Ohtani is set to join them maybe as early as this week.
Look how easily Ohtani makes it look, too.
I
mean, when you saw him leg out the triple, I mean, it's like, wow. My 10-year-old was like, he's fast, Dad. I'm like, yeah.
I mean, dare I say 50-50 club? I don't know. I mean, it's possible.
Inland Sports.
Nobody better than Patrick in the morning on KCal 96.7 FM on the old radio dial. So if you like rock music and you like sports, hanging out with Patrick in the morning every Monday and Thursday morning, again on KCal 96.7 FM. Let's talk some more high school football. It's our second Boost Top 25 poll of the season. We had the preseason poll. Then we played some real games in week 0, and the rankings did change quite a bit. In fact, the biggest upgrade was, well, the Beaumont Cougars. Big win on the road for the Fightin' Steinies as they beat San Jacinto to move to 2-0 on the season, because remember, they beat Kamehameha out in Hawaii in week 00. So they're 2-0 already, and they climb all the way inside the top 10 to number 8. So we got 3 CBL teams in the top 8 with Cajon, Citrus Valley, and Beaumont. Liberty, the Bison, also cracked the top 10, coming in at number 10. On the other side, a couple teams to keep an eye on, Ramona and Hillcrest. They both enter the top 25. They get the party started, and they're both 1-0. Big wins in week 0 for both of those squads. And right now, you're going to notice there's a lot of good teams that took a loss, took the L in week 0. So the next couple of weeks are going to be very decisive to see which teams go up and which teams go down, which teams are real contenders and who's pretenders. But right now it's really hard to judge because some really good teams out there took losses in week 0 because they played other really good teams, and that happens. So we'll see what the Boost Top 25 poll looks like next week after week 1. But again, the biggest mover, Beaumont going up. Liberty got into the top 10. Ramona and Hillcrest joined the party as well in the top 25. Big games coming up this week. You just saw Citrus Valley inside our top 10, although they haven't played yet. We had Kurt Bruick, the head coach of the Blackhawks, on the show, 2 weeks ago? And he said, this team is talented. They're good, but they're just really young. They just need to get some experience under their belt. Well, right out of the gate, huge game for Coach B and the Blackhawks. It's our Ken Sporting Goods must-see game as Citrus Valley will make that short trip out to Rancho Cucamonga to take on the Etiwanda Eagles. And that's going to be our Ken Sporting Goods must-see game. Etiwanda, one of the top teams in San Bernardino County. So is Citrus Valley. For Citrus Valley, this is their season opener. So we'll see if Coach Bruick of the Blackhawks can start off the season with a win and get that experience for these young up-and-coming stars. It's our Ken Sporting Goods must-see game, Citrus Valley and Etiwanda. Let's take a look at some of the other big games coming up in week 1 of the high school football season. Aquinas at home for J. Sarah. That brutal non-league schedule continues for the Falcons. Tough road up in the high desert against Oak Hills. Now they get a J. Sarah team that's very, very good. In fact, did J. Sarah, I think they just beat Santa Margarita. Does that sound right? Hit me up in the chat. I think they did. Vista Murrieta will take on Murrieta Mesa. Kind of a rivalry game down there. We got the Rancho Verde taking on Great Oak. Both these teams trying to bounce back after tough losses in week 0. Both very good programs. Riverside Poly versus JW North. You always got to love a good Riverside rivalry game. We got one right there between the Huskies and the Bears. Big Bear versus Rim of the World. Speaking of Bears, and the whole mountain's going to shut down and watch this one between the Bears and the Scots. Santa Margarita will take on Centennial, 2 of the top teams in the southern section. Centennial, even without quarterback Hassan Longstreet, Dominic Catalano filled in admirably, and he might even play again against Santa Margarita. And you got to think Centennial is still going to have a legit shot. And the last game, Upland against Norco. Upland, again, one of the top teams in San Bernardino County. Norco, if they're going to right the ship and get things going in the right direction, a win against Upland would do the trick. Easier said than done. Norco, when we had Trevor Schneider, their star running back, on the show, man, when you look at their non-league schedule, they play some of the best teams in the entire Inland Empire, and it does not get any easier against Upland in week number 1. All right, right now on the Inland Sports Show, we mentioned a little bit earlier, one of our own, a former high school football star out of Great Oak, could really use your help. He and his family could use your help to chip in. Jason Pagal, who was a star at Great Oak, played at Palomar College, then went on to play at Chadron State. Well, Chadron had a scrimmage game, a scrimmage practice against another school, and Jason suffered a neck injury that has left him paralyzed from the neck down. And there is a GoFundMe right now to support Jason's journey to recovery. And even though they are hitting their monetary goals, you can still support the family. I can only imagine the feelings, the emotions, the trying times that this family and this poor kid is going through right now. So if you can share with the Pagal family, if you can maybe support Jason, maybe, I don't know if he's checking social media or whatnot. I know there's a lot of attention right now on Twitter and Instagram and whatnot, maybe just send a message of support. We're all pulling for you, Jason. We believe in the power of prayer. God can heal. So we're believing in that, Jason. I know I think it was ABC7 did a story, and he wants to walk again, and we're going to believe in that. So if you can support Jason Pagal, former Great Oak star, monetarily or maybe a message of support, I'm sure he would love to hear it. So this happened back in the Midwest. He plays, Chadron State is in Nebraska, but I think this happened in South Dakota, if I have my facts correct. So either way, he's supposed to be on his way back to California, or maybe back in California by now by the time you're watching this Inland Sports Show. So there's the information on the screen. And if you follow Inland Sports on social media, we can share the GoFundMe link as well, if that makes it easier for you guys to simply just click on it and take you to where you need to go. We're here to help on the Inland Sports Show, and there's a lot of great events out there. Especially, we do the high school sports real hard. We do some CBU stuff as well. So if you've got something going on high school wise, we'd love to promote it as well. And my guy Anthony Moreno out there at Roosevelt said, "Hey, we got to Meet the Mustangs basketball event. Everyone loves Roosevelt boys basketball, right? One of the best teams in the state." Well, they're going to have a Meet the Mustangs event, man. We barely got into football. We're already talking basketball. This is great. September 15th at 2 p.m. You can go out there and check out the Mustangs. I bet you they're going to be really good again. So check out the Mustangs. And if you have an event for your high school or your team, we'd love to share it here on the Inland Sports Show. So just let us know about it. All right, that's going to do it for this edition on this Wednesday night. If you're watching us live, subscribe to the channel. Give this video a like. We also have a thanks button. If you appreciate what we do, if you like to help support us, share these awesome positive stories in the IE, we would appreciate that as well. Big thanks to our guests, Summit Football head coach Nick Matheny, Mark Mitchell, his running back and linebacker star, Fontana legend, as he said. We also had Dorian Hoze out of Murrieta Valley, the star running back who went off against Rancho Cucamonga. It was awesome. All right, my name is Pep Fernandez. God bless you guys. Stay safe out there, and we'll do it again, same time, same place, next Wednesday, 7:05, kickoff time right here on the Inland Sports Show. Until then, enjoy your high school football. Check Inland Sports for scores and highlights and maybe even some interviews as well. You can also check me out on the Friday Night Pep Rally on Riverside TV. That'll do it for this show. We'll see you next time.